friends, welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk about my favorite anime of all time, JOJO'S Bizarre Adventure. Woo! So let's get into it. If you haven't watched JOJO'S Bizarre Adventure, I suggest that you don't watch this video because it has a lot of spoilers, and if you don't care about those spoilers, then sure, go ahead. The first reason I like about JOJO'S Bizarre Adventure is because it's so bizarre. I really like the fact that you can't guess what's going to happen next, so there's a lot of suspense and just totally randomness, so that's something I really enjoyed. Just imagine your favorite character might be dead in the next 2 seconds and you can't even tell until it actually happens. You probably will be thinking, no way he's going to die in this episode, right? He's like one of the main characters. But then no, you're wrong. JoJo loves to surprise us, so that's just something so fantastic about the whole anime. Is so much bizarre things happening. The second reason I like JoJo is because the art style is really cool. I really like the lashes. It's super pretty. I think the drawing style is just really elegant and I really like that. And also the colors are very vibrant, especially when we're in a fighting scene where the characters are fighting hard. There's usually like a color reverse effect. I thought that was really cool as well. But I liked the art style from part 2, 3, and 4 more than part 5 and 6, and part 1 was okay. After part 4, the art style just became kind of weird because they aligned the characters so thick that their eyes don't even look the same anymore, and their nose kind of like became so pointy. It doesn't even look realistic anymore.
Even though it's an anime character, but you know, like when the nose is exaggerated so much, it looks kind of like just like a point at the tip, like this kind of thing.
I just didn't like the art style in part 5, but I think I just got used to it after watching a couple episodes. But yeah, I would love to draw all the JoJo main characters. The JoJo art style just looks so cool. I hope that one day I will be able to draw myself in the JoJo style and make it my profile pic or something. It would be so cool. The third reason why I like JoJo is because it's very historical. By historical, I mean like how we traveled so much with JoJo. We went from England to New York, then to Rome, and then to Switzerland, and then to Japan, and then we spent part 4 in Japan, and then we went to Italy, and then we went to Florida. So I think the whole journey of the Bizarre Adventure is just so historical and very cool that we traveled around the world. I think JoJo had a pretty good depiction of the cultural and historical background of different countries in different time period. Especially in part 3, we traveled so much. We went from Japan all the way to Egypt and passing by Hong Kong, Singapore, India, Pakistan. It's just super cool to see all the different parts of the world. Although one thing I didn't really like about part 6 is the fact that we spent so much time inside the jail. There are 3 parts in part 6, I believe. The first 2 parts are all inside the jail, and then the last part is when we went outside the jail. I wish that there were more parts that were set outside of jail. Would be nice. Then that's all my reasons for why I like JoJo, but there's also parts that I didn't like about it, but they're not as significant, I promise. For example, in part 4, the whole thing happened before Kira appeared. It just felt like we were side questing because how it just didn't feel relevant to the main plot. Especially the stories happened around Koichi. I personally didn't enjoy those parts. Basically anything related to him and like how his sister and mom got attacked by a stand user, and that all that part were kind of felt like irrelevant and kind of like filler. But I don't think they're fillers, but it just felt like they were not as exciting. But I do liked Koichi's love story with
the female high school classmate. I forgot her name.
I truly believe that Kira saved the whole part 4 because without his appearance, I think part 4 would turn out pretty unimpressive compared to other parts of JoJo. That's just how I feel about part 4. The only part that I didn't feel like binge watching was part 3. I think part 3 was too long, and the fact that every 2 episodes is when JoJo's fighting a stand user, and I think there's just too many stand users that they had to fight in order to get to the final battle. So I kind of watched every 2 episodes and I had to rest for the rest of the day because it just didn't feel addictive.
So yeah.
But part 4 characters were all so cool. I think the guy called Polonov, he's like super lucky because I remember so many times that he almost died or being attacked. Nobody gets attacked as much as he got attacked in the entire part 3, but he always survived every single time. He's literally so lucky. I really like the fact that he appeared in part 5 as a returning character. That's really cool. And the last thing I want to mention is that JoJo didn't start as strong as some other anime like Demon Slayer, where when I first watched Demon Slayer, I got hooked after watching the first episode, and I had to binge watch the whole series because it was just that good from the start. But I feel like JoJo, at least for me, was when I first started watching, I kind of didn't like it. Especially the first 2 episodes were kind of boring, if I'm being honest. And also it's just how Jonathan is just, he felt like such a pussy. Kind of like just too stereotypical of a gentleman. But anyways, after I watched the first 2 episodes, it started to get a lot better, and I kind of got hooked after, I don't remember from which episode, but definitely not the first 2 episodes. My favorite JoJo is definitely Joseph Joester. He is like the funniest JoJo ever. I love his iconic line like, my favorite part of JoJo is part 2. It's just way better than part 1, and especially the fact that Joseph is in it, and I think he just made the whole part 2 so enjoyable. Besides all the JoJos, there's another character that's super duper important. I think other people might agree with me. It's Speedwagon. He's like the most important character. I'm just kidding. But he's super important because he had that Speedwagon foundation or whatever. It carried all the way from part 1 to part 6 and beyond part 6. That's just something memorable about JoJo, and he's the founder of such a great organization that saved Jotaro from dying. I just remember he did a lot of great things with his foundation. And that's all from me on my review on JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. If you have any thoughts and you want to share anything about what you think of the anime and anything, then leave a comment down below. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.